a builder, and he's actually from Saigon, and he usually challenged me to do things. So we kind of like, okay, let's do this together. It's fun. And he posted a picture of something that we could, build together. So this is one of the picture that he sent me, which is like a train track street, sort of a crossway between a train, like a busy street with people on the street selling stuff. At the same time, there's a train going through. And there are, houses. People live next to the train track, which is a very common scene in Vietnam, actually. Hanoi is very famous with the train track street before the virus, packed with tourists. So when it came out, everybody was quite impressed with it because, people see it as something that they saw, even with the tourists and people from the adult fan community around the world, that they recognize it, which is fun. The train itself, it's something you don't see today, actually, the red train, because I grew up near the train station, and that's one of the trains from the 90s. And I wanted to create something that my generation would recognize, so that's why I picked that train, very specific for my childhood.
I see.
And this is a minifig scale. If I do it bigger scale, then I don't think I have time or money.
But I like the way you combine or choose or select the colors itself, and making the entire scene is very harmonized. So like the building itself, it blends nicely with the train, and also the streets, a little bit of details that you put in, and also I think the electric poles, the wire, the connections. Yeah, I think the harmonized feel is there, and the connections. I feel the connections between me and the scene. I think you can achieve something is very good here.
Thank you.
Yeah. So is this a very challenging MOC for you? Maybe not.
Actually, it may be because I'm not familiar with minifig scale build. I think I'm not that's good as a larger scale because there are a lot of constraints in the minifig scale. So I have a hard time trying to follow the scale directly. So that's a struggle. There are less space and less room for the techniques that I want to show. So it's quite challenging, actually. And this one took me maybe like 6 or 7 months to finish.
Wow. Okay.
Mainly, at the same time, mainly because of the waiting time for the pieces.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But out of this MOC, which part is the most challenging part that you face?
Probably the train. Because trying to find the reference for that train is hard enough, but then trying to replicate that train in this scale for me is very difficult. Like as I said, like I'm not familiar with the minifig scale. I still try to do it, but tons of people do it better than me, honestly. But I try my best on this scale.
Yeah, I think this is fantastic. Yeah, I do like this.
Yeah, I should do more minifig scale in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we can move on to the next one, which is not minifig scale MOC.
Yeah, this is not minifig scale. So, this one is I started get super interested in the architecture scenery in Hanoi. So this is what you would say a French mansions in Hanoi, but it's not quite 100% because you can kind of see the door is not French. It's sort of a mix between Asian country like China, Vietnam. So it's sort of like after 100 years, they replace the door and they just put in their own new ways of living in there. For example, the door, on the sidewalk in front of the door, there's some texture, some tiles that had prints. Based on the base, it is French, but then if you look closely enough, it's not. So that's uniquely to my hometown. I want to create a series of sort of like this scale, this size, of different styles of architecture, different ways of living for the people. And this is the first one that I created last year.
And I see you use a very special way to build the trees.
Yes, this tree is an accident.
Okay.
I didn't plan that. So I wanted to have something in that corner. I started with the grass. You can see the green grass. Quite expensive piece.
Yeah.
It's the claw piece. Yeah, it's quite expensive in this color. So I started that and it's just missing something. So I wanted to put something tall in there, to counterbalance the height of the lamppost. So you create a balanced composition. So, it's natural to put a tree there. Trees is always good. And I tried to do something different than what people used to do with a tree. I tried in the past many different kind of tree before, but most of them are based on what I saw online. But this one, I was just looking through my bins of bionicles and joints that I never use. Like this is something that I never use. So the the joint there is kind of like in that bin, that area where between the bionicle and technique parts, and I thought it created nice shapes. It's quite rigid. It's not soft. So when you angle it, it's click into that angle. And when I do 4 different stems comes out and kind of like twist them together, it creates a nice composition for the tree.
Yeah. I think, this is probably the first time I see people using these elements to build a tree. And I think I saw in some Facebook pages, somebody share about the tips and the techniques. I think they also use this. They also advising or recommending people on this technique to build a trees.
Yeah, I think that tricks and tip or something like that. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, that Facebook famous tips Facebook page. Yeah. I think they showcase this technique.
Yes,
I think.
Yes. So this is very unique way of doing. So probably I think we can anticipate more this kind of new creations or new ways to use the bricks from you in the coming years.
Hopefully, I'm trying to come up with something new, but I'm running out of ideas.
But I can feel you can still very creative and inspire when you facing a roadblock. When you face a roadblock, then you will try to use some ways to overcome it. Right. Okay. I think we can move on to the next one, which is the same series. Am I right?
Yes. Yeah. It is the same series. This is the second. No, technically this is the 4th one. I started the first one, finished the first. Still working on the second, which I showed you in the beginning. I started the second one after I finished the first, but then I struggled with it. The 3rd one is there, not finished, but this is the 4th one that I finished. So it's a second, but it's actually the 4th one.
Okay.
Now, after last Christmas, my wife and I went to Hue, which is a city in the central region of Vietnam. It's famous for its ancient citadel where the emperor used to live. So I was quite inspired by it, and I took a lot of pictures. So this series of facades and architecture. I don't build exactly like the picture that I take, because I believe that you add some more or take some out some more, it creates something better. So this gate, it doesn't exist, but element of this gate exists in the cultural and in the citadel, and some of them are from the home of the people that live around that area. Especially the color. Now the Hui is famous with their purple bluish color, as you can see on the two pillar on the side. It's I had to order this color immediately when I get home, because I know this fits perfectly. There's the blue. I can show you. I forgot what it's called, but this is not the blue. It's sort of like between the blue and the purple. I have to look it up. It's something between the lavender and the blue, but it's a very strange blue. And Lego only released it in a dozen of different kind of pieces, so very hard to find, very unique. Oh, I remember. You can see this blue in the castle theme in 2004, I think. 2004, 2006. So that's the story of the color. And I think that color speak out to me as something that represent the city and the architecture scene. Of course, the yellow, this is the orange yellow. The main color is the orange yellow. The red door, very famous old Asian country, door has to be red, important places, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I try with all the bright color, the red, the special blue, the bright yellow, the detail, the gold detail. I have to offset it with some toned down color somehow. So I pick on the two side walls, you can see on the various edge of them. I use the cream color, which is a very nice color, I think. Try to create a texture wall there, and then try to use some gray on the bottom, try to balance out the brightness of the main subject.
Is there any special technique you deploy for the flooring, for the tiles?
For the flooring of this, I use this piece. So I use a lot of this kind of techniques. This is the racer hood piece, right? Come out from the racer line. So if you do it like this, it creates like a brick wall feel. If you do it like this, it also creates sort of like a brick wall, but less broken. You could mix up. You could turn it sideways like this and create some different texture. So I try to mix up, try to turn them 90 degrees each time and try to create something different. For the floor, I use this type of configuration, and then I have it upside like that. So it's like built on the side all the way, right? And I use one color, which is a dark gray. I have bags of I've got bags of them here, different color. They're quite cheap. They're very cheap, so that's why I got all the colors I wanted, and I try to create different texture for them.
Yeah. Okay. So let's move on to the next one, which is, I think, this is also one of my favorite of your MOC.
Okay. Thank you.
So
this one. Do you have any questions? Just ask me.
I think you just tell us what you have in mind for the story or the idea that inspired you to create this.
Okay. So, before I did many outside perspective, I want to bring it to the inside living area, right? And it happened to be the Tet holiday, which is the Lunar New Year holiday, right? I'm sure in Malaysia you have the same holiday. Any other Asian country. So for this one, our local group had a competition for the Lunar New Year holiday. So I entered with this. This is quite tough because I had 3 weeks to do this.
So you completed this within 3 weeks?
Yeah, so the competition only allowed 3 weeks or something like that. Maybe around that time before Christmas. So yeah, I had 3 weeks. I had to use the criteria is that okay, 3 weeks is too short for me to order any brickling order, right? So I have to use all the pieces I have in my collection, and it has to be the fit within my previous styles and themes, so I could use it for the future if I want to. So it has to be that in sort of the same scale in a way, and it has to be around the holiday season area. So I came up with like a living room to showcase how people back in the late 80s and 90s used to have in their living area to celebrate. In here, if I'm not sure if you're familiar with all these items, but they are a must-have for all home in Vietnam back in the 90s. So the most famous one are the chairs, the dark brown chairs. So they can kind of see they kind of like have the curvy and ornate look.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they're usually called the grandpa's chairs because all grandpa's family has to have them.
Yeah.
They all have to have this, because it's something that just go from his previous generation to him, and they keep them. They're very proud of them, and I think picking the color, the dark brown, it has to be dark brown. It's spot on, and it's just a matter of creating the right shape. So I was debating between scale for this because the toughest is the chair. So I started with the chair first, and I was debating between using two type of unique pieces. This one is also like a tree trunk or a tail, also have that curve, and then this is like an elephant trunk, right? So this elephant trunk has, I was lucky because was released in the same color, dark brown. So I have some of them. So I use them. They fit nicely, I think. And then the next one after I finished the chair is the table. Whereas the table is the center of the composition, also the center of the family, where they share teas and do all kind of talking and do all that stuff, in the Asian cultural. But what makes it Vietnamese in here is that next to the table we have the thermometer, not thermometer, but let's like the thermoflask. I forgot the word.
Yeah, thermoflask.
Yeah.
To put the hot water.
Yeah. Like we one of the first product in Vietnam you could buy from a Vietnamese manufacturing company is the thermoflask. So back then everybody buys them because not only because that's the only product you could buy from the country, but because you actually you use them a lot. Electricity was very expensive back then, so you can only boil water once if you have electricity, or you have to have like an open fire, open flame stove to do it. So boiling water takes a lot of effort back in the day, and everybody has to have something that they could keep the hot water in. So that is something that very speak to me as a Vietnamese element. And of course, on the table there is some lucky money, envelope, the teapots. Of course, you gotta have some tea time with the family, right?
And then the next one that you build is after that.
Yes, the next one is on the background. There is the bookshelf combined with the TV stand. Okay, so the brown bookshelf. So back in the day, during the holiday, when kids have a lot of cousin, friends, family member to visit them. They want to showcase their achievement. All right. So either their books from school, textbook, and the stuff they read. Also, you can see that on the top. That's the books on the top row of the shelf. Second row, their trophies from maybe some your chess club, your soccer club.
Yeah.
All kind of activities that you have some you won some prize.
Yeah.
So you gotta showcase that you achieved something when you was a kid. That's very important. And the parents show them too, because the parent be like, okay, my kid's really good, and here's what they did. Yeah, that is that. On the third row from the top, that's the toy. Now the toy are very, very important to me personally, because back in the day, it's hard to get toy in my generation. Famous one is the Russian doll, in the middle, the red pumpkin piece with the rounded top. It represents the Russian doll. It's like a balanced doll in a way. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that.
Yeah.
In my country, China, yeah. Of course, there are some fake teapot for the kids to kind of pretend. So you can kind of spread the teapot there, the smaller one, that minifig scale, that represent the kids' teapot, and they can like try to do their own stuff.
Okay.
There's some doll. There are some something rounded tube shape to represent the drum. Drum is also something that your kids can buy. It's some product that our country make. Rackets, badminton. That's something that we could find easily.
Yeah.
And then on the bottom of that shelf, it's of course something that people want to put away, is that dishes and spare cups and stuff like that. Always on the bottom shelf.
I see.
And
Okay.
We'll go to the right. That's the TV, right? The TV. It's very expensive back in the day.
Yeah.
For early 90s Vietnamese family. Now this one is a perfect family though. This is a very rich. We didn't have any of those. So this is
this is a wealthy family.
Yeah, very, very wealthy family. TV. The red TV. I remember that. I think it's like a Japanese model. I don't know. But I think I've seen the red TV before, so that just stick in my mind. I had to do a red TV in there. And then the fan, it's so hot in the summer and even in the winter time. So you have to have a fan to cool the family.
I think this type of stand fan is very famous in our regions, countries here.
Yeah. I'm sure you can relate too.
Yeah, yes, definitely.
Yeah. So coming up next is the two element that you could say it's maybe very Vietnamese and very Lunar New Year holiday ish, is the trees. On the left side is the kumquat tree. Some family would buy the kumquat tree that has very big kumquat fruits to showcase they're wealthy and they're very they can afford things, right? And then on the right is the cherry blossom branch, which is also famous around here during the Tet Holiday. Those trees are the two type of plant that you want to buy during the holiday. And of course, on the foreground, you can kind of see there are some more flowers on the side. Yeah. And of course, they display their pictures, their famous their pretty pictures on the left and on the right, face each other like that. Classic arrangement. And in the very middle, you can see your family picture right there on top of the TV. The family picture with
okay, that's a family picture.
That piece is from Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
Yeah. And the two picture on the two sides from the friends.
Yeah, on the front side.
Yeah.
Okay, so
and all the,
meaning you build all the furniture first, then only you build the scene.
Yeah. I built because to me the trickiest part is to get the furniture scale right.
Yeah.
After I decided with the scale of the furniture, then the room will just have to follow. Because the room is always easier, maybe because it's less detail and less constraint because of the size and different shapes. So the room has to follow with the furniture at this MOC.
Yeah.
So the last picture I sent you is the work in progress for this. I can talk about techniques a little bit.
Okay.
Let me get it out really quick. So on this picture, it's like after I finished with building the furniture, I started to create something that contain the furniture. Now this is the room that I want to use the same color scheme as my others built. This is the bright yellow with red floor and maybe some white. And I use the same technique, like this type of wall technique to kind of showcase this is the size of one of the buildings that I showed you before, which is, it's very old. But people try to make the best to try to redecorate it. They don't have enough money to fix it, to put paints on it. But they would rather spend money on the expensive trees and toys
and the TVs.
That's just classic Vietnamese ways of living. Always showcase you spend money on something, on the materialistic things.
Okay.
Yep.
But
and yeah.
So what is the most challenging part when you build this MOC? Is it on the scaling itself?
The most challenging, I would say, trying to get the chair right. I think that's the most challenging. To get it right, the first time it was actually I used the smaller scale the first time, but it's just not working out. So I had to do it like that, and then trying to decide which element to put in to showcase in here and what element to leave out. That's also some decision I have to make.
Yeah. I think you really did a very fantastic job here, because I think to get a very good MOC, I think besides the color, the scaling is one of the very main factors. So in order to get your MOC proportions or the scaling just right, I think most of the builders know this. They will need to spend a little bit of time to do the calculations of the break, the start size, this and that, in order to get to the right scale. So I think you did a very fantastic job here, because when I first see this MOC, I was like, wow, the scale is perfect. It matched so nice with the colors, and then I tried to pay a little bit more details on the furniture and also the broken wall you have made on that. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
This is the first time I tried this broken wall technique. I was looking for a way to build like a brick wall that show it's broken away from the main building, and I was experiment with this, but then this brick, but then I didn't like it because it's expected, like you expect to use this. Right. So I always try to do something unexpected, and I try to come up with something new. And because of this doesn't fit the scale, this fit the minifigure scale better, but it's to be too small for this scale. So when you compare it side by side, this technique kind of like create the same pattern but then in a different scale. So when I put together like that, and it combined with the color, I think it works well.
Yeah, I think it's worked perfectly. It's not just well.
Thanks.
It's fantastic. So you say you join this, you create this MOC to join a competition to end up. I guess you have won something out of this.
I won first prize.
Yeah, definitely. If this is not the first prize, I would like to see how is the first prize looks like.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So I think more or less we have get you go through most of the MOCs that you have built so far. Thanks for all the insights and also very unselfish sharing. So maybe you can share with us a little bit on what is your upcoming project and your next plan.
Yeah, so my plan is to focus on this style and focus on this scale to create a series of inside and outside of what I experienced as a kid, as an adult, and try to showcase my cultural background and what people around me live and feel. So I think this scale is what I'm kind of comfortable with at the moment. So I would try to expand on this idea and scale. Right now I'm working on the second, but actually the third because it's not finished. And show you here on the side here. It's like a small run market, like a family run market, very famous around Vietnam. And my grandfather actually had one. He ran a market, and my memory of it is very happy, and I feel very fond of it when I think about it. So I tried to do something like that, but his market wasn't, his shop wasn't that pretty in a way. So I tried to do something pretty for that, for him, I guess.
Okay.
I'm trying to do that. Not finished now, but I will do that. But the future plan is to create at least maybe 10 of these type of belt, and then put the nice frame and do all that stuff. Try to hang it up on the wall like a painting. I only want to do just the front because I want it to be narrow as possible, so I could put it in the frame. I already have some frame design picked out, and I put it in the frame, and then I'll just hang it up on the wall as a just like a sculpture or a painting, something like that. As you can see on the background, you hang up your minifigs right there. Yeah. So I want to do the same thing with my build here. They're quite flat, so I think it's possible.
Yeah, I can imagine once you complete it, it will be a very amazing scene because if you have tens or 20s of them, put it up together on the wall, it's like an art.
Hopefully I get to that number.
Okay, so lastly, so where people can follow and find you or maybe interact with you in person?
Sure. My Flickr, it's called Know Your Pieces.
So I will put up the link in the description box below.
Yes. My Instagram is also at know.your.pieces. And my Facebook is Hoàng Đan, which I don't think you could easily find it, but I also can send you the link.
Yeah.
And
okay.
I would love to connect with a lot of AFOLs around the area. For example, Singapore, Malaysia, China, Taiwan. Any other country really. To connect, it's Korea, Japan. I know there's amazing builders there. I'm quite lonely here, to be honest. The community here isn't so big at the moment. Hopefully in the future we will expand. I mean, we will for sure, but we're still very small, and not many people knows about us, and we don't really know much about other communities. So I would love to connect and yeah, we can share a lot of ideas and techniques.
Yeah. So so thanks for having you on this. So Ray, thank you very much for all your sharings and your time for this. So I think this video we have to come to an end. So thanks for your time again. Bye bye to everyone.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.